What's up, everybody? This is a new channel, and I just kind of wanted to start off by giving a video on my perspective from a wedding and family photographer's point of view about the Z6. There's a lot of reviews online. Actually, there's not really that many reviews online, but there's starting to be a lot of reviews online about people saying that it's not a good camera, or saying that it has shitty autofocus, or a bunch of problems, or it's not like a professional camera. And yeah, I just wanted to give my perspective on it because I am a professional wedding photographer, and I shoot about 40 to 50 weddings a year, and I've made the complete switch over to the mirrorless system. Now currently I own 3 of these Z6s. I'm about to get a 4th one actually, and I made the switch over from the D850. And the reason why I did that was because I think that photography should be about simplification. I think that a lot of times we're just bombarded constantly by gear reviews and companies coming out with new stuff and the latest lenses and the latest technology, and people get kind of lost in the weeds thinking that they need the latest stuff in order to produce great photos. Now, I've been shooting for a long time professionally, and I shot on one card slot for years. I mean, the one card slot issue is not really a good argument in my opinion, because we came from the film days where obviously film was way more fragile, and you had a serious risk of losing footage anytime you shot any type of event or paid gig or something like that. And then moving on to digital, I mean, I shot with the D700 for years, and that was one CF card slot. I had no issues with that. If you format your cards all the time and you take care of them, and they're not just, in your pocket, falling on the ground, you're protecting your cards, you're not going to have an issue. Obviously, there is a risk, but how much of a risk is really, I think you can use common sense to kind of decide that. If you're going to get a card failure, most likely it's going to be due to human error rather than some type of... And if you're using shitty cards, I mean, you have to use the top-of-the-line cards. Obviously, if you're pro, you're going to use the top-of-the-line cards. XQD is extremely reliable. I mean, it doesn't get more reliable than these cards. Look at the specs on them. Look at the reviews. Look at what the manufacturers are saying. Even Nikon says the failure rate is close to 0. So I don't have any issue with the one card slot. And then also, if you do have an issue with it, you can also take a laptop, set it up. I could take my MacBook, set it up in the corner at a wedding or something like that. Just have everything wirelessly back up to it. It's not an issue, but I really don't feel like that. I think that argument is not a good one. And you look at, no one says that the Sony is not professional because it has 2 card slots, but those are SD cards of a much more risk of failure than a XQD card. And the second backup is a UHS 1 rather than a UHS 2. So you want to back up, you want to shoot raw to each one of those cards. It's going to take a long time. Your buffer, I mean, it's going to get, it's just, the speed is going to go way down. So anyways, that's what I want to talk about with the card. But I moved over from the D850 because I believe that mirrorless is really going to be the future of photography. And I mean, obviously you hold a D850 in your hands. It's an extremely nice camera. I mean, I shot some of my best images with that thing. It's an unbelievable camera. The resolution is crazy. I mean, the dynamic range is crazy. The autofocus is great. You could throw that thing across the wall. It's going to do more damage to the wall than it is to the camera. But it's all about, for me, when I was shooting weddings with the D850 and the D810. D810 is my backup, and everything was fine. But once I got the mirrorless camera, once I got the Z6 and replaced the D810 with that for my backup camera, switching between the EVF and the OVF as you're shooting it screws up your workflow. You're going from an EVF and kind of disregarding the meter, and then you have to go to your other lens that's on your D850 or whatever, and then you're looking at the meter, and It's just you need to get in my mind. I want to focus on what's going on in the situation and focus on my composition. I don't want to have to be looking at, you know, the meter and then looking at the screen. Meter, screen, it just screws everything up. And then when you throw flash into the mix, it's a completely different thing. I mean, it's just too much to think about. So in my mind, it came down to, what do I believe? Do I believe that mirrorless is going to keep getting better and it's going to be the future? Or do I want, you know, or not? And the answer to me is yes. I do believe that mirrorless is going to be the future. And so I just, you know, I made the decision to move into it. And I can't be happier that I did. I mean, this camera is an unbelievable camera. I don't care what anybody says. Any of those fucking reviewers who are saying that this is not a good camera is a complete jackass. They either don't make money off their photography or they haven't really used it. I mean, I've used this in multiple weddings, multiple family shoots on site. I don't care what anybody says about like spec reviews. I want to talk to people who are actually using it. The autofocus is not bad. It's not as good as the Sony. I notice when I lock onto a subject's face, it does lose it sometimes. But it's not a big deal to hit the OK button and then recompose on the face and then have it track. I mean, if you know how to compose and shoot and you're a professional, you understand how people move and you understand how you have to compose and focus. I mean, I was, you know, spot focusing, single point spot focusing and recomposing for years. You know, like the D700 and stuff. I mean, I just know how to focus. But the face lock on and face detection is pretty good. I mean, it's definitely good enough to where my photos are coming out crisp. I mean, I did 2 engagement shoots this weekend, and I wasn't missing shots, and I was using the face tracking. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it definitely needs to be improved with firmware updates. And I saw, like, the angry photographer, he was saying that Nikon never releases Yeah, no shit, because they've only had DSLRs for the past 10 years. I mean, they're stepping into a whole new world now with their mirrorless systems. And they've already said, so unless you think Nikon is actually lying by saying that they are releasing firmware updates and they're just, you know, going to lie and then not do it, I think that's ridiculous. Obviously, I mean, they came out and they said they're going to have IAF, they're going to have CF Express support. And, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you believe them? So I think the autofocus is going to keep getting better, and right now it's damn good. It isn't perfect, but no camera is. The build quality in this thing is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it's just like a D850, just smaller. You know, I mean, the thing is weather sealed like crazy. It's solid. You bang it around, throw it in your bag. I mean, it's a professional camera. It's a professional body. Absolutely. The thing does not feel dinky or, you know, they like skimped on anything at all. One thing I do wish is that the tilt screen was a little bit more, like it tilted a little bit more, but you know, like when you tilt it out this way, like that, doesn't go all the way down, so I don't know, but you know, that's not bad. I mean, flippy, have it around so you could blog with it. I'm filming this on a Z6 also, you know, so you could see yourself. That would be cool, but you know, awesome resolution. The touchscreen's real responsive for it. When I'm on site, I have no problems with it. The EVF is incredible. I know nobody's giving bad reviews about the EVF, but it really is. It's crazy good. The FTZ adapter is awesome. All my other lenses work unbelievable with it. I mean, I have no lag. Everything locks on. Like, you know, 7200 FL, the 5814, like everything just like locks on perfectly with it. And the silent shooting is absolutely just incredible for a wedding photographer. I mean, I know that like we're probably the only ones that really, really care about that in a crucial way, but like if you're a wedding photographer, that is just unbelievable for it. I mean, weekend before last, I was shooting a wedding, and yeah, I mean, they didn't even notice. I asked the bride and groom, I was like, because I was getting some crazy angles and moving around. I was actually pretty close, and I was like, you know, was I getting in the way? And they're like, we didn't even notice you. You know, I had silent shooting on the whole time. Image quality, resolution, I mean, it's crazy. 24 megapixels is completely fine. Completely fine. You don't need 47, 50 megapixels. You just don't need it unless you're making huge prints. Nobody does. I mean, unless you're doing editorial work or something with advertising, the megapixels is just something that they're trying to sell us. I mean, the 24 megapixels is fine, even for cropping. I don't do a lot of extreme cropping, but even at like the cropping that I have done, it's fine. There's no issue with it at all. So I just think that a lot of people who are talking shit about this camera don't really use it in a professional setting. And most people are just like, you know, pixel peepers or like gearheads that like just have this like acquisition syndrome where they just like need to like just go through and comb through every little speck. Dude, pick up your camera and go out there and shoot. Go create pictures. This thing is a beast. It's an unbelievable camera. I mean, no camera is absolutely perfect. You're not going to find a camera that's absolutely perfect. That hasn't been created yet. But this thing is damn close to it. I mean, yes, the D850 is definitely like I guess an all-around better camera in every single, you know, in most categories. But the thing is what is going to get the gear out of your way the most, so you can go in and you could focus on your composition. You can be as not intruding on the situation as possible. Create images that people are going to love and make people feel comfortable around. I mean, if you're like me and you're a wedding you're shooting people, those are the crucial things. It's not like having the most resolution or anything like that. I know how to shoot. I know how to expose things properly. I know how to use flash. I know how to, once you get those things down, I mean, like people are saying there's banding issues. Yes, there's going to be banding issues if you don't know how to fucking shoot and you're going to underexpose everything. Yeah, you're going to have shitty banding issues. If you know how to shoot, this is an unbelievable camera. I mean, so I don't really know what more to say. I was just looking through the, you know, internet, and I was, you know, on YouTube, and I'm seeing all these terrible reviews or people talking shit about like the autofocus and stuff. And I just feel like nobody who's saying those things are actually out there using it, because if they were, then they'd see the same things that I'm seeing. I mean, I don't care about any brand or anything like that. I would buy a Sony if it, you know, suited my needs better. I'd buy a Canon if it suited my needs better. I don't really give a shit about gear. I just want to create good images. I want something that, like I said, gets out of my way so I can focus on competition. Takes care of stuff. I don't have to think about it. That's what I want. And that's what this does. It's small, it's lightweight, it's compact, it's built like a beast, it produces unbelievable images, it autofocuses fine. I hit every shot that I need to. Yes, it, you know, misses the face sometimes. It locks on, follows it, tracks it. Sometimes it goes off, but whatever. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, and like I said, no camera is. And we're going to get firmware updates for this stuff, and it's going to keep getting better. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to start this channel. I'm going to start doing some gear reviews and just like, you know, thoughts on photography in general. Coming from like a wedding photographer, event photographer perspective. And yeah, hopefully you guys will find this stuff useful. You know, I want to put some good information out there and just help people. So that's it for now. And yeah, see you guys again soon.